Another word for humbling yourself under someone's hand is to turn the other cheek. Genesis 17. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. And he's a very jealous El, so I would not be saying other idols and just assume he knows what I mean. Genesis 17. And it came to be when Abram was 99 years old that Yah appeared to Abram and said to him, I am El Shaddai, E with a half a check mark on top of it, L space capital SHADDAI. Walk before me and be perfect, and I give my covenant between me and you shall greatly and shall greatly increase you. And Abram fell on his face, and Elohim spoke with him, saying, As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations, and no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations, and I shall make you exceedingly fruitful, and make nations of you, and sovereigns shall come from you, and I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant to be Elohim to you and your seed after you. And I shall give to you and your seed after you the hand of your sojourns, all the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession, and I shall be their Elohim. And Elohim said to Abraham, As for you, guard my covenant, you and your seed after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you guard between me and you and your seed after you. Every male child among you is to be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall become a sign of the covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 days is circumcised by you, every male child in your generations, he who is born in your house or bought with silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your silver has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant, and an uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, his life shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Elohim said to Abram, As for Sarah your wife, do not call her name Sarah, for Sarah is her name. Okay, so instead of Sarai, it's now Sarah. So Sarah. I think I was saying it wrong. I have to have been saying it wrong. Because Abram and then Abraham. And then Sarai to Sarah. I don't know. And I shall bless her, and also give you a son by her, and I shall bless her, and she shall become nations, sovereigns of peoples are to be from her. And Abram fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Is a child born of a man who is 100 years old, or is Sarah, who is 90 years old, to bear a child? And Abraham said to Elohim, O let Ishmael live before you. And Elohim said, No, Sarah your wife is truly bearing a son to you, and you shall call his name Yitzhak, Yitsh with a dot underneath of it, AQ, and I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. See, I shall bless him, and shall make him fruitful, and greatly increase him. He is to bring forth 12 princes, and I shall make him a great nation. But my covenant I establish with Yitzhak, whom Sarah is to bear to you at this appointed time next year. And when he had ended speaking with him, Elohim went up from Abraham, and Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all those born in his house, and all those bought with his silver, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that same day as Elohim told him. And Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised the same day, And all the men of his house born in the house brought or bought with silver from a foreigner were circumcised with him. That is an everlasting covenant, and nowhere in the I haven't been circumcised. I'm getting up the courage to do it. Sounds really painful. My brother said it was painful. Nowhere in the Bible does it say not to take part in that covenant, which was for the people, his people who want to be his people. Men, not women, just men. So those crazy people over in other countries that are literally doing that to women, that's really messed up. Yeah, does not condone those actions. Only to men. Anyways.